Today we're going to discuss how to approach a horse. And so one of the biggest things, especially during eating time, because you can see when we're looking at the horses as far as taking them out of the pen, we've got Hank and he's in eating his grain. That's probably one of the toughest times to bring a horse out. But I want to do it in a way where it's safe, because a lot of times we have to take our horses away from their food if they're not finished. And so normally the horses I have are trained in such a way, if they see me approach and come in the gate, they would turn their bodies around and they would be able to come up to me that way. It's a different approach. We're going to make it a little bit tougher. We're going to take a horse away from food. Okay, so I've established I am going to use a training halter today, a rope halter, because I'm going to work on my groundwork. So when I'm walking up to the horse, he's a little bit turned, and so I want to make sure he can see me. I don't want to surprise the horse and walk up directly behind them, because instinct-wise, they would probably kick out. They would kick out at me thinking I was trying to steal their food. And so by talking to him, just like I'm talking to you, I'm going to walk up and I'm going to establish that he knows I'm already here. Okay, so when I'm walking up, notice how I'm approaching the side where he can see me out of this right side of his eye. I'm not approaching the back end and the left side where he can't see me. He's already acknowledged that I'm here, okay? So once that's established, I am gonna walk up and put my lead rope around his neck. The purpose of putting this around his neck is I'm not gonna fuss with trying to finagle the halter on while he's eating. I'm actually going to take him away from his food and bring him out of the pen facing the other direction, and then establish putting the rope halter on then. Okay, so once I get over here, I don't want to play tug of war, so I can use the lead rope. Notice how he responds. He can turn around safely. And once I get a little bit away from the food, I'm going to go back to putting my halter on. So even the toughest horse, the easiest horse, taking them away from food, you're not always promised the perfect time to be able to work with a horse. And so if they happen to be eating, I say work whenever it's some of the most difficult times, like when it's dinner time. Establishing my rope halter when I pull my end through the eyelet. When I tie this, it's the same that we went through when we went through the halter exercise. I'm putting the knot between the eyelet and the first knot that's up by his chin. Notice how he's a good boy. He's just standing here. He's still got some grain. He's still got plenty of hay left whenever he comes back, okay? I now safely can take him out of the pen, but you've noticed how even if he would have tried to go back to his food, I would have still established with my rope that I want him to point away from the food and walk back in the direction of the gate. Now, to safely get out of the gate, again, it goes back to groundwork. When I'm working with a horse, I want them to be with my shoulder right against close to at least the angle of where the throat is, okay, especially where the throat latch is. I'm not going to lead him and stand out in front of him or get too far behind him. When I come up to my gate, you're going to get very good at holding a horse in one hand and being able to take a latch or a pin, open a gate with the other. So as your horse walks through and I turn him around, I'm going to make sure and always know where my horse is, okay? So that I know where his feet are, I know where he's facing, I know which direction he's facing, okay? So once I get him out, I can then proceed to being able to lead him exactly where I want to go. And again, through using groundwork technique and backing and those kinds of things, I can navigate him with a ditch behind me and a road here and horses and food and everything happening at the same time. Okay, good boy.